We take you back to one of our top stories where Transnet and labour unions are expected to reconvene wage talks today with the guidance of the CCMA. Hundreds of Transnet workers across the country embarked on a strike last week. They're demanding a 13.5% wage increase. For the latest on the story, we take you live to our reporter Athi Mtongana, who's following the developments in Cape Town, which is that leg of the march. Athi, very good afternoon to you. What are the developments looking like on the ground as the negotiations are still underway?
The developments on the ground is that these workers that are picketing outside Transnet are getting messages of support by the likes of Kosatu and Fudusa. I'm joined by the SACP that also came here to share a message of support. Can we get your name and your designation first?
My name is Benson Lenso, the Provincial Secretary of the SACP in the Western Cape.
What is your message to the workers today?
Our message to these workers is to say they must remain united. And we're quite impressed, I must say, that we found both Satau and Undu picketing right together. So that was a very important step. And we said, in order for their demands to be met, they must remain united. And we call on employer, right, to see to it that the demands of these workers are met, and that these hardened workers must not be insulted, right, by being given a 4%. Right, so we're saying no, that is an insult, you know, and one make this point. So look, as they negotiate, they must ensure that critical issues beyond cents and rents are raised. Such includes 1, the insourcing of all workers; 2, that all workers who are on contracts are indeed permanent; 3, and that this entity must not be privatized, and the whole notion of attempts to bring about private partnership must be rejected, and that must be in the agreement too, because such will be used as an attempt ultimately to privatize this entire entity. So, because Transnet is important, and this entity must serve as a backbone in the building of the developmental state in this country. That's the point. And we're saying the historic or the present crisis, be it is that of corruption, must not be used as a convenient excuse. 1, to privatize; 2, not to meet the demands of the workers. Because these workers are not responsible for corruption. The elite politicians, the elite board, and the executives are the ones who are responsible for corruption that existed in this entity.
Do you think there is political will, given the fact that we haven't seen the Minister of Public Enterprises in the negotiating table? We at least have seen Thulas Nxesi, the Minister of Employment and Labour, but even with him, it doesn't seem like he brought a solution to the table, but was there to listen to the negotiations.
What I know is that the present government, right, is engaged with what I describe as auctioning of our state-owned companies. And that is why our message was very clear, was around that no to auctioning of our SOEs, right? Whether the minister is involved or is not involved, right, these workers must exert pressure through this mass action for him to run to the negotiating table, right? And political will be determined by the assertiveness of us on the ground, together with the shopkeepers and ordinary workers. We are not going to beg, we are going to fight. And here, we are wearing jeans and techies, and we are prepared to jump fences because we want the demands of the workers to be met. That's the bottom line.
Before I let you go, there are warnings by economists and experts saying that if this strike continues, it will cause a huge financial blow to the economy that is currently recovering. Some of them are mentioning about 8 million. Some of them are saying 6 billion a day. There's a lot of numbers that are being thrown around, but essentially saying that there's a huge blow to the economy if this continues.
We want to challenge the economy's business to put pressure on Minister Pravin, on the board, on the president, to ensure that these workers are given what the demands they want. Not only these workers, right, including public sector workers. And here, actually, we are calling for solidarity strike, right, so that this strike can be effective, right, so that workers can appreciate on how this connect. What is the meaning of 5% with this work? 4% with this workers? It's nothing, right? If you had to get what the lowest worker earns, you'd be very surprised.
How much is it?
You'll get that later. I don't want to tamsak you. I'll show it later. Should I have had my notes, I'll go to show to you. But it's quite terrible. Go to the HR, ask them to give you the salary package of the end-level work. And you're very disappointed. And you begin to calculate 4% against what that worker earns. Right? That's one point. The second point is around social benefits, which talk about the issue of maternity leave for women. That if a woman, it takes 9 months for her to deliver, why must she be given less than 9 months maternity leave? And that must be fulfilled. Actually, it should be beyond that. So, such demands to us are quite important. And these workers must unite, employers must go to the drawing board and give these workers a reasonable offer. And that is 13%.
Thank you so much. The SACP, I'm going to ask my colleague to pan and show you the number of Transnet workers that are out here. You can see for yourselves, the workers are not backing down. The police are also here as well to ensure that they maintain law and order. The leaders of this particular group continue to engage with the police so that they can be in line with the picketing rules that were signed earlier on. I'll leave it there for now. Back to you in studio.
Very well, Athi Mtongana, we leave it there for now. Of course, the workers are definitely not backing down there.